No one will ever forget where they were the moment Rajay Davis turned Progressive Field into an absolute nut house. This place went bonkers, and with good reason. It went down as one of the most thrilling World Series of all time. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way of the Indians that night. The Cubs would rally back and win it in extra innings, but that moment for Rajay Davis really galvanized, I think, Indians fans everywhere.
Boy, for the Indians organization, the biggest home run I've ever seen, and this place was rocking. It was a memorable one, but when you flash back on that series, what a great one it was. The Indians able to jump up 3-1 in the series lead, but they just couldn't finish it up. But so many great moments in that series, and I got to tell you, this is the first time these two teams have met since, not including spring training. But I'm sure these guys want to go out and show you who's best, and that was the big hit in that one that gave the Cubs the win in Game 7.
Interesting in that both teams will be wearing the exact same uniform combinations that they were wearing in Game 7 here tonight. So far this year, Rick, the Cubs, kind of an all-or-nothing team. They've scored 8 or more in 8 of their 10 wins, 2 runs or less in 6 of their 9 losses.
The exact opposite. The Indians are winning games when they score less than 3 runs, where the Cubs cannot do that. But the Indians' starting pitching has been phenomenal. They're averaging under 15 pitches per inning, where the Cubs are almost last in baseball. They're averaging almost 18 pitches per inning.
Well, the rain is gone. We're ready for baseball. We'll be back with the play-by-play. Alan Jensen have the big story, and we'll check in with Andre Knott straight ahead. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by Who But WB Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians, and by your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. Made in Ohio, Ohio proud.
And Josh Tomlin, the great effort he put forth in Game 3 of that 2016 World Series. He is going tonight for the Tribe against Chicago. Hi again, everybody. Welcome back. Along with Jensen Lewis, Al Pulowski here in center field. We have our big story for you tonight, and the Indians have added a veteran to the organization reportedly. It's not official yet. Still needs to take a physical, but Melky Cabrera reportedly has signed with the Indians Once he does pass the physical, he would head to Columbus on a minor league deal.
It'll be interesting to see how long it would take for him to possibly get here. We know the damage he's done between Chicago and Kansas City. He's been a thorn in Indians pitching side for many years. Hopefully now on this side of the ledger, he can really contribute to the Indians offense.
It would be nice to get that bat on our side instead of pitching against it as in years past. All right, with the call in the game tonight, Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, and Andre Knott. Let's send it over there now. Matty.
All right, thank you, Al. Cloudy skies, but looks like a few raindrops will be scattered throughout the night, but we're going to try and play through 56 degrees here at game time. Let's go downstairs right now and check in with Andre Knott.
Thank you very much, Matt. Hey, this is good weather. They're going to play the baseball game tonight. Yesterday, we talked about something late in the game with the Indians and the Orioles, and it's about the Tribe starters and how much deeper they're getting into games. Coming into today's contest, there have been 388 more strikeouts in all of baseball than ever before through April 20th, or through 20 games through April. Now, in the midst of all these strikeouts in Major League Baseball, Indian starters have changed it up. Last year, they were first in Major League Baseball, averaging 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. Right now, they sit at 7.6 per 9 innings. But that's not a bad thing in the Indians dugout because the pitchers to per batter has gotten lower, guys. Last year, they were tied for 23rd at not 3.93 pitches per batter. Right now, they're tied for first in all of baseball at 3.75. What does this mean? Starters are getting deeper into games, and that's giving less stress on the Tribe bullpen.
Boy, efficiency can play a huge role for the Indians this year.
As I mentioned, they're the #1 team in pitches per inning, under 15, 14.7. The Cubs are 17.9, so it makes a difference. It doesn't seem like a lot, maybe just a couple pitches per inning, but boy, as that year goes on and game after game, it certainly builds up.
As we begin play tonight, the Chicago Cubs come into town having split their last 10 games. They are 10-9 overall. They currently sit 2 games back of the Cardinals and Brewers, who are tied atop the Central Division standings. Pittsburgh currently in 3rd place at 12-10, a game and a half back. Then you have the Cubs, who are still trying to gain some traction. They've only played 7 games so far this year at Wrigley Field. Like Cleveland, Detroit, so many teams in this part of the country, weather has played a big factor in their early season so far, and maybe that has something to do with why they have been sort of a stop and start team.
Yeah,
one day
right.
They look great, they score 10 runs, then they might go a couple of games and not score any.
Well, that's the key. They're counting on their offense to score, and it's tough to do that in the cold weather. It's the starting pitchers that have really let them down. And, you know, normally they figure they have a very good staff, but that's been very inconsistent. Their ERA is high. Their bullpen has been fine, but the starters have been, I would think, what's cost them. And it's the starters that have held the Indians in, and that's why the Indians have won as many games as they have, is because of that starting staff.
And the Indians come in 12-8 on the year. 2.5 games better than Minnesota in the American League Central Division, and the Indians are the only team in the division over 500. Minnesota has now dropped 4 straight, and they're 8-9 on the year. The Indians 6-2 so far this year at home. They've split all 12 games on the road thus far. That doesn't surprise you because they were so good on the road a year ago. If they can play really well at home this year, boy, that would be a breath of fresh air.
That certainly would, and they're off to a very good start. And now we're going to take a look at Josh Tomlin, who's going to start for the Indians today. He will be the Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher. Josh has not started a ball game since April 10th, and that was against Detroit right here, where he pitched 5 innings, gave up 4 hits, did not allow a run. He walked 2 and struck out 3. You know, he came out of the bullpen in Puerto Rico and ended up losing that Wednesday game before they left, where he pitched an inning, gave up 3 hits and a run. But he's going to come back and get a start against the Cubs tonight, and let's see how Josh does. It's his first career start against him in regular season.
Joe Madden's starting lineup for the Chicago Cubs. Albert Almora Jr. will lead it off. Javier Baez bats second, and Anthony Rizzo recently had some back problems. He's in the lineup hitting third. Wilson Contreras, the catcher, bats cleanup. Tommy La Stella at third base. In for Chris Bryant, who's out, will bat fifth. Kyle Schwarber DHing, hit 6th. Addison Russell, the shortstop, batting 7th. Jason Hayward in right field hits 8th, and Ian Happ, the left fielder, batting 9th.
Well, the Indians defense brought to you by Ram. Looks like this: Rajai Davis in left, Bradley Zimmer in center, Tyler Naquin over in right. And on the infield, Jose Ramirez at third, Francisco Lindor at short, Jason Kipnis is at second, Yonder Alonso at first, and Roberto Perez doing the catching.
And the umpires tonight, Ted Barrett, the crew chief, calling the balls and strikes. Lance Barksdale, Will Little, Tom Woodring on the bases. And just like that, we're underway as Josh Tomlin delivers a first pitch strike. Follows that up with another one. It's 0-2. Albert Almora Jr. has hit safely in 6 straight games for the Cubs. Swung on and missed. Tomlin disposes of him on 3 pitches to start tonight.
Well, wasted no time. Check it out on the Nissan pitch tracker. He comes right up and he goes fastball, breaking ball on the outside edge and gets the strikeout.
Big rip by Javier Baez, but it's fouled back.
Baez got off to a slow start, but then all of a sudden caught fire about the last 10 games or so. He has 7 home runs and 23 RBIs.
He's done all that in his last 10 games.
Yeah.
He did.
He asked and he said yes. Another one that asked the first base umpire. You check, he sure did. Breaking ball. He can be a very aggressive hitter up there at home plate.
Just off the plate. In his last 10 games, he's hit 7 home runs, 19 of his 23 RBIs in the last 10 games, and he scored 13 times.
Yeah, so that's a nice hot streak.
The 2-2. Fouled the breaking ball off. I mean, that's about as hot as the guy we just left in Baltimore, Manny Machado.
Well, he's strong. He can drive a ball. He hits it a long way and can use the whole field. You used to be able to prey on his aggressiveness, but I'm sure maturing as a hitter.
He has 21 hits. 15 of those have gone for extra bases because in addition to the 7 homers, 3 triples, 5 doubles. Tomlin's 2-2. Trying to slow it down with the curveball, missed inside, and now a full count. Threw the bat at it, and that's going to be a base hit to right field. He's going to turn and go for 2. Naquin's throw, not in time.
Well, I have to tell you, that's a really nice job of hitting by Javi Baez right there. That was a good pitch. It looked like it was a cutter away, and he just stayed on the baseball. He didn't try to pull it, and he took it down the line, and he challenged Naquin to get to that ball and make a good throw, and he gets into second base. So another double, his 6th. But a really nice job and a good at bat by Baez.
So a runner in scoring position for Anthony Rizzo. Pops him straight up on the infield, and Lindor backpedals. Still going out, and Rajay Davis calls him off. 2 down. Storylines tonight brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Francisco Lindor, Javi Baez, 2 of the top players in that 2011 draft, going head to head here tonight. Batter now is Wilson Contreras. Riding a 5-game hitting streak. And Tomlin slows it down. Another good curveball for strike.
Yeah, that's a pitch he's going to need tonight against the Chicago Cubs lineup. Is that nice slow curveball to take him off everything else, and he has it right from the start.
This is where the Cubs have been a lot better here in recent games. Last 4 games they've played with runners in scoring position as a team, they're batting .360. But overall on the year, just a .236 team average. Certainly something the Indians can empathize with. Slow curveball bounced to Lindor. Throws him out to end the inning. No runs ahead, a man left. The Indians are coming to bat.
Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher for the Cubs. He's 0-3 this year, coming off a start against St. Louis where he went 4 2/3 innings. Only 1 hit, but he walked 7, so he has 14 walks in his 15 2/3 innings. You got to make him get in the strike zone today.
Terry Francona's starting lineup for the Tribe, brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Leading it off is Francisco Lindor, who's now hit in 3 straight games. Jason Kipnis is hitting second. Jose Ramirez will bat third. Then it's Yonder Alonso, Edwin Encarnacion, and Tyler Naquin. Roberto Perez gets the start behind the dish. Bradley Zimmer's in right, in center field batting 8th, and Rajai Davis, the left fielder, hits 9th. Chatwood misses up and away, ball 1.
This is Chatwood's 4th start this year. His best one was the first one against Cincinnati, where he went 6 innings. The longest, allowed 4 hits, allowed 1 run, but they got beat 1-0 in his debut.
A ball and 2 strikes for Lindor. Who in the first 8 home games has batted .281.
There's the big curveball that's his go-to pitch. If he's on, he will get a lot of ground balls.
Weekly chop to short. Addison Russell with a low throw, and Rizzo did a nice job to stretch and scoop it up for out number 1.
Did he ever? He picked it beautifully. Let's check that defense for the Cubs.
In the outfield, it's going to be Ian Happ in left, Alberto Almora Jr. in center, and Jason Harewood over in right. On the infield, it's going to be Tommy Estella at third, Addison Russell at short, Javi Baez is at second, Anthony Rizzo at first, and Wilson Contreras behind the plate. The Cubs have made 16 errors, rated 11th in the league in defense. Good pick for the first hitter of the game when you think about it. He's got to look at the stretch and scoops it, and boy, right up snow cone. Able to hold on. That's why those first basemen, the bigger glove they use, the better, I think, sometimes. But he's a good one over at first base, no question about it.
Didn't miss by a whole bunch, but it's 3-0. That caught the outside edge. Jason Kipnis has 10 hits in his last 9 games. Fastball fouled back, and now a full count. With Jose Ramirez waiting on deck. He held up, and it's ball 4. And this has been the problem for Tyler Chatwood. And you know, you mentioned the defense and some of the errors, particularly playing against a guy like Chatwood. You can see how those errors happen. 40% of the batters he's faced have either struck out or walked.
Yeah,
so there's not a lot of action.
Standing around. And as you mentioned, the weather's been bad. They've hit tough weather like we have as well. That's tough on the defenders when you're standing in there and the ball, you're not ready for the ball in play. You know, goes deep into the count. If he's on, he's very good. But he, in his second start, in his first start against Cincinnati, he only gave up 4 hits but walked 6. And then against Pittsburgh, he walked 1, and then 7 Cardinals in his last start. So it's almost like as an offense, I'm sure they're going to say, hey, make him get in the strike zone and see what he has to offer.
Well, Jose Ramirez went up there with that in mind, but this pitch was nowhere near the strike zone, even though it was called one.
Well, that's a terrible call. Why not shoot for it out there to see if he's going to, expand that zone and try and swing at it? Hitters know how far they have to go out and swing at a pitch. We'll see if that stays consistent like that tonight, or that was just a mistake there.
Staying out there, it's 2-2.
But he's a sinker ball guy, and with him, you almost have to aim to the middle of the plate and let the ball do the running. If you sit on the corners, that thing's going to end up outside most of the time anyway.
Ramirez with a line drive single into left field. Kipnis stops at second base.
Elevated it enough, and Jose just, it's not that he hit it that well. It almost looked like it jammed him, but he took it the other way.
Our great clip of the game from yesterday. All the offense the Indians needed, provided by one swing of the bat from Yonder Alonso, a 2-run home run. But Carlos Carrasco and the Indians bullpen made it stand up. So Yonder bats here with 2 on and 1 out. Leads the team with 13 runs batted in, and that one pushed him back off the plate.
You know, we talk about the offenses and how Chicago's been scoring. They have outscored the Indians by 40 runs. They should have 110, where the Indians have 70.
Right at the third baseman, La Stella. to second for one, on to first. Inning-ending double play. So the Cubs go around the horn to turn 2, and we are scoreless after 1. Light rain has been falling throughout much of the afternoon. Actually, it was a heavier rain when we arrived at the ballpark, but now it's just kind of an intermittent sprinkle here and there.
All things considered, we thought it was going to be a tough 2 days here, so at least we started on time, and it looks like all systems go.
Tommy La Stella leading off for Chicago, swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. La Stella, then Kyle Schwarber, another left-handed bat, followed by Addison Russell here in inning number 2 for Chicago. And Tomlin gets ahead 0-2. Up and away. Strike 3 called, and Josh Tomlin has his second strikeout of the ball game.
For the Cubs, batting designated hitter number 12.
Take another look at this pitch. He's going to go away, and that's a nice little cut fastball away on the outside corner. That's came back nicely right on the outside edge at the knees, and La Stella gave up on it a little bit, so Josh Tomlin gets the strikeout.
That'll bring up Kyle Schwarber. Popped up foul, and this should find the seats, and it will. Ramirez gives it a look. Kyle Schwarber, 25 years old, of Middletown, Ohio. Good pitch, just in off the plate.
It's still a very good pitch, effective. Even if he missed with it inside, he let him know that he will go in there.
Hit hard, down the line, and gone. Kyle Schwarber gives the Cubs a 1-0 lead with his 5th home run of the season.
Now this pitch, I don't know if he tried to go back inside again or not, Matt,
but this one might have leaked out a little bit, and Schwarber put a really good, smooth swing on it. Schwarber will get his 5th home run. Let's take a look. Yeah, see, that stayed in there again. He just went in and missed in off the plate, but boy, he was ready for that one. He wasn't going to get that one by him, and that got out in a hurry.
Now Addison Russell, who looks the ball one outside. Bradley Zimmer, a diving effort, but can't pull it in. And into second base with a double is Russell.
Excellent effort. He got there. It hit off the glove. It just didn't go in. I don't know if it hit off the thumb of that glove. He had a long way to go. He was on a dead sprint. And watch him where he starts and watch where he dives. That's just like trying to steal a base right there. Right off the thumb of the glove. Good effort. Boy, you want that thing to go into the pocket, but it was just a little high. That ball stayed up, I think, a little longer than you may think. It means Russell hit it pretty well. So it goes as a double.
Well, all 3 hits for Chicago in the game for extra bases. And now Jason Hayward. Hayward is a guy who has been stinging the ball. %50 of the balls he has put in play this year have come off the bat 95 miles an hour or above. So when he's making contact, he's hitting line drives, and those more times than not lead to hits. To center field, Zimmer makes the catch. Runner holds. 2 down. The Kyle Schwarber home run. Speaking of line drives,
About 3.5 seconds to get out of here. There's no hang time. The only thing you're going to hang on that is some clothing and just dry it out. That was a line drive.
I think anybody under the age of say 30 knows what that even is all about. Hanging clothes out to dry.
Google it.
I was doing that today. I was hanging clothes over the banister. A little air dry action. Rounded foul, first base side. Ian Happ batting 9th for Chicago. The only switch hitter in the lineup for the Cubs. In the dirt. Addison Russell in scoring position. And a base hit into center field. That'll get another run home as Russell scores. Ian Happ comes up with the knock with a runner in scoring position. And it's 2-0 Chicago.
Well, a big 2-out base hit there. He came back with the breaking ball, and it ends up he ends up turning on it. He went down. He waited for it. It was a 74-mile-an-hour pitch. You can see in center field where Zimmer was over towards left field side, but you didn't want that breaking ball. You expect him to hit it the other way. He did not. He pulled that one on the breaking ball.
Albert Almora Jr. struck out on the first inning on 3 pitches. See if he's more aggressive this time around. Swings at the first pitch. Kipnis backpedaling. makes the grab. 2 runs, 3 hits, a man left. Middle of the second, 2-0 Chicago. Count 2, Edwin Encarnacion will lead it off. But he takes a pitch that the Cubs thought was a strike, but Ted Barrett calling it ball 1.
Well, that's a lot better than some of the pitches we thought were strikes earlier.
He had one to rip there right down the heart of the dish. Fouled it back. It's 1-1. Ooh. That one got his attention.
Well, it's almost like with Tyler Chatwood, there's no one spot you can sit on, because you can see how he's thrown him in and out so far in the first inning, and he started right here.
Not real comfortable. 2-2.
He threw the slider the pitch before. It looked like he tried to throw another one right there, and that one was spiked down out in front of the plate.
And he chased one, an off-speed pitch. Kind of a weird pitch, not certainly one I think that Chatwood intentionally wanted to throw it where he did, but it worked out for him because it was out of the strike zone. Time for our Hear Right sounds of the game. Tyler Naquin on the 2-strike approach.
Whenever you got 2 strikes, you gotta be able to put the ball in play, and from last year and the year before, just being able to make some adjustments, knowing the strike zone better, being able to put the ball in play more, has really helped. And just it's just like he said, whenever you're up there, it's a fight when you get to 2 strikes. You see some guys choke up, guys widen their stance maybe. So I mean, a lot of good hitters do things like that.
Upstairs with it, 2-0.
To add on to what Tyler was saying there, he also understands, and Arch, maybe you can help us with this, is that he understands that just because you make an out, that doesn't mean it's a bad at bat. He said 2 years ago when he was up here, if he didn't get a hit, he would put his head down and be mad. Now he understands that sometimes you can have a good at bat and make an out, and you can learn from it and build from it, and that's what he's doing.
I mean, you tip your cap to pitchers sometime when they make good pitches. You just can't miss mistakes once you get up here. But and he does. That's one thing Tito likes about him. He battles his way. He may take a bad swing one at bat, but that doesn't matter. You get 3 swings in this game, and sometimes you need every one of them.
And one of the reasons Tito hasn't been a 6-hole tonight is that he said he's putting battle on the ball, and he goes, and right now that's important when he doesn't have Michael Brantley in the lineup.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss, full count. He has 11 hits on the year. 5 have come with 2 strikes.
Fighter. He likes to fight when he gets to 2 strikes. Let's see what he can do here.
Good
Draws a walk.
There you go. That's the patience there. Encarnacion swung at a ball out of the strike zone, or he would have walked. Tyler Naquin takes that walk. Second walk now for Chatwood.
1 on, 1 out for Roberto Perez. And Roberto trying to get himself back on track offensively. Shortened the bunt, pulled it back, pitches out of the strike zone.
Well, Roberto played 1 game in Baltimore. That was the first game, the Friday night when Bauer was there. Had a tough night, struck out 4 times, and that probably a cause of the trip to Puerto Rico, where you were over there seeing family and probably exhausted, I would think.
Well, he struck out against Dylan Bundy 3 times, all 3 times swinging. And I'm not sure if any of those were strikes either. A lot of those were sliders that were just
Bundy was pretty good
going off the plate. Upstairs 2-0.
Yeah, this guy's inconsistent. This is a tough at bat. When you get in that batter's box, you don't know what to look for. You know, he's an uncomfortable at bat, I should say. Not that you're afraid you're going to get hit, but you know, what do you sit on? He throws a lot of pitches right now. He's at 32 pitches. We're only in the 2nd inning.
Roberto whacks it foul. I know a lot of hitters say that you go up, you seek the fastball. His fastball is the pitch that's been all over the place.
Yeah,
though.
that's you're right. It's moving. Then he throws that little slider. I think as a hitter, it's hard to do sometimes, but you have to remain patient. And if he's going to walk guys, you got to let him. Already 5 Cleveland hitters have had 5 or more pitches in an at bat.
And this will be pitch number 5 for Roberto.
Looks like he has a little better command maybe with that slider at this point in the game than his fastball. Came back again with it.
Roberto not happy, but it's the 2nd strikeout for Chatwood, 2 down in the inning.
This one sort of backs up a little bit, goes straight down, frames it. Roberto may think it's inside, but today when it's raining, the umpire may widen the strike zone a little bit. You got to at least put a swing to it.
Well, here's Bradley Zimmer. 0 for his last 8. Cubs want to take a look at it.
I mean, it looked like Rizzo came down and put a tag on the backside of Naquin, and it was close. I mean, a lot closer than the casual safe. As he comes back, let's see from this angle, he might be out. I'll tell you what, he might be out on that one. I think they're going to check it. He's out. There's the tag. The hand's not on the base yet.
No, the Cubs are going to challenge it.
I would. It certainly looked like it. It was a casual, okay, he got in there, but it looked like the tag from Rizzo got on the backside of Naquin before that hand got to the base.
Yeah, Rizzo, he wasn't, you know, a lot of times the first baseman are right at the bag, but he was sort of off the bag, so by the time he caught it,
he's a big guy, and he's got a long
had an
reach.
easier chance to put the tag on him.
Yeah, and he, you know, he didn't say much. He just looked to the dugout and said, you know, check it out. And I'm going to tell you, here's what I think. You see a little stumble there by Naquin right into the back, and that's the leg, and I think he's right on his leg right now before the hand gets to the bag. We'll see. I don't know if that's conclusive, and I don't know from that angle if that glove, when we saw the hand's about an inch or two away, if it was on him.
Ted Barrett, the crew chief, is on your right-hand side.
Should be quick. Yeah, he got him. No question.
So the inning is over. Chatwood strikes out a pair, and the walk is erased on the pickoff. For him.
He would love that, wouldn't he?
Javier Baez way out in front of that slow curveball. Baez had a good at bat his first time up. He ended up taking a pitch that was off the plate and just punched a double down the right field line.
Yeah, he worked the count full. It was a very good at bat. They left him stranded back in the first.
Swung out and missed.
See, he's an aggressive hitter. That's what you have to prey on. That you can get him to chase your pitch, and so far he has with the two curveballs in this at bat. Pattern. Curveball away, move him back off the plate. Curveball away, he did the same thing. It's a 2-2 count now.
Go! He got him looking.
Cutter inside, and Baez looked out there and said, yep, good pitch.
Third strikeout for Josh Tomlin.
I think he was looking for that breaking ball away again, but he cuts it on the inside part of the plate, and it comes back, and there you go. He's going to hope it's inside, but he realizes. Watch him shake his head. Yeah, that's a good pitch. You got me. That's what you call tipping your cap right there to the pitcher.
Anthony Rizzo takes up and away, ball one.
Rizzo swung at the first pitch, popped up his first time up.
And he's had some back issues recently.
Ben Zobrist currently on the DL with a back problem.
Chris Bryant out of action tonight.
He was hit by a pitch in the head, and that certainly was a scary moment. Wow, Rizzo, speaking of scary, scorched one right off the face.
How about that for a 3-0
of the Cubs
count?
dugout.
Oh my goodness. They're lucky those that netting is there in front of the players, or someone would have got it. I mean, 3-0 count. And I mean, you can't pull it any harder than that.
See if he tries to really slow it down here. 3-2, full count. Ground ball, Jason Kipnis has it. Well, you think back to October of 2016 and Game 3 at Wrigley Field when Josh Tomlin took the mound with his dad in attendance. Dad was sitting just over the top of the Indians dugout on the first base side. And Tomlin combined with Andrew Miller, Brian Shaw, and Cody Allen on a 5-hit shutout of the Cubs. It was one of those incredible postseason games. You don't see many 1-0 World Series games, and Tomlin was at the center of that one. Wilson Contreras, a ground out to short, his first time up. And the 1-1 is swung out and missed. Out of play to the right.
But all you could do with that pitch is try to foul it off and stay alive and live for another pitch.
To deep left, and that ball is gone.
Yeah, that's going to be his first home run of the year. He got it on the inside part of the plate. Barrel head of the bat, just he speeds it up, and that got out in a hurry. Another line drive.
On a 1-2 pitch.
Yeah, you miss your target, and it can go a long way. Second home run that Josh has allowed, both solo shots, and both line drives. And this is going to see it. You're going to see it stay in the middle part of that plate, that cutter, and he just speed up his bat. And that gets out in a hurry, so they make it a 3-0 ball game here with 2 outs.
Tommy Listella out on strikes his first time up. Sends one to center field where Bradley Zimmer makes the catch to end the inning. Cubs with a couple of home runs so far. They lead it 3-0.
more. RBI Baseball 18 is available now for Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, iOS, and Android. Learn more at rbigame.com.
Bottom of the third, 3-0 Cubs lead it. Zimmer gets the bunt down. Chatwood grabs it, throws it. And it's going to be an infield single for Bradley Zimmer.
I love the idea there with the grass moist. You get the ball down. Chatwood got off the mound very well. He rushed his throw because that's what pressure and the speed does. If he makes a good throw, he has him, but he's going to spike this one into the ground. And this time, Rizzo's not going to come up with it, and Zimmer will get an infield single. So I love to see him incorporate that into his game here, especially leading off an inning.
And now Rajai Davis. Fastball up and in, ball one. When I sat down with Rajai back in Goodyear and we looked back at that home run he hit off of Aroldis Chapman in the World Series in Game 7, and I asked him about choking up, because at times you will see him choke up a little bit, but that time it was really exaggerated. And he said, I was telling myself, the only shot I have here, if he throws that fastball, is to just throw the barrel at it. So he said, if I choke up a little bit more, I'm basically only swinging the barrel.
Playing pepper.
Down low.
See, there you go. That lead-up bunt. Now you get him out of the stretch. We get Davis at a good count now, 3-0. I mean, right now, Chatwood's thrown more balls than strikes. 20 balls and 19 strikes out of his 39 pitches. You can see that. Look at the defenders. You can see why this guy's tough to play, defense behind.
Ball four. So the first two are aboard for the Indians here in inning number 3. Injury report brought to you by the attorneys at Elk & Elk. Chris Bryant not on the DL, but he was hitting the helmet with a pitch on Sunday. Didn't play. I mean, he had left that game early and, not in the lineup tonight. And obviously, they're hopeful that he won't need to go on the DL. Top of the order, Francisco Lindor. And he gets the bunt down. La Stella throws him out. Zimmer to third, Rajai to second.
Well, La Stella comes in. He's going to make the play this time. And I don't mind you see where Chatwood gets out of the way. He's going to let his third baseman take it, and wisely so, as he gets Lindor. It'll go sacrifice 5-3, but now you need Kipnis to pick him up here and get one of those runs home.
And he takes a strike, but lets Ted Barrett know he doesn't agree. Good block by Contreras. You talk about free agency, the risk, the roll of the dice it can be for teams when you talk about investing long term in a player. And you look at how many players couldn't find a home this offseason. Right. Tyler Chatwood is an interesting case because he came into the offseason with a career record of 40 and 46. a 4.31 ERA. None of those numbers jump out at you, and yet he landed almost a $13 million a year deal for 3 years with the Cubs.
I know it. I remember he started with the Angels out in Los Angeles around 2011.
He's never pitched more than 158 innings in any one season. But
well, that's a roll of the dice then by the Cubs.
Right now, Jason Kipnis trying to do some damage. Get the Indians on the board here.
Matt, you make a great point about Chatwood, but remember the other two pitchers they were dealing with during the offseason.
Bouncing ball between third and short, cut off by La Stella, and he'll throw out Kipnis. The Indians get a run home. Davis staying home at second base. And there are 2 down. Kipnis with his 5th RBI on the year. Go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, you're talking about Arrieta, who wanted a big deal, and then the Darvish situation. And from Chatwood's situation, I think they needed a guy who could be their 5th or 4th starter, not knowing if they were going to be able to get Arrieta or if they were going to get Darvish, and they didn't want to go over that tax threshold either. And I think he was just the right guy, right situation for them.
Yeah, good point. But I mean, when you're looking at starting pitchers, you can be a 500 or below and still make $10 million a year. He's making 13.
Yeah.
So I still think it's a risk.
Jose Ramirez, 2-out base hit right field. Rajay coming around there. They're going to wave him home. Hayward started the play. It's in time. Jason Hayward comes up throwing from right field. He's tagged out at home plate. That's the call on the field. The Indians are taking a look at it. Terry Francona, I think they might want to challenge this. What do you see?
I think they got him.
Yeah?
I do. I could be wrong. It looked like they got him on the backside before that hand got in.
And Tito is getting the information relayed. He's going to challenge.
Okay. I hope he's right there, because it was a great throw. And you got Davis coming in. Here you go. He has the ball. Where's the hand? When does it hit the plate? There it is. No, I don't think so. Looks like he got him on the backside here before the hand gets there.
It's really hard to tell. That first look, let's see it on this one. If you can see where Raj's hand is, where does? Yeah, I don't know, Arch.
I think he got him on the backside by the time that hand got to the back of the plate. Boy, what a good throw that was. Ramirez, a big base hit, and you know you're running on 2 outs, and Davis, one of the fastest guys on the team, he was around third base. But it's a good challenge. You know, it's so close. You got to take the chance, because it keeps the inning going.
See, I think from one angle it looks like his hand gets to the plate before the tag, but on that low angle it's hard to see where his hand is relative to the plate.
I know, and remember, they called him out, so they're going to have conclusive evidence here. So this is going to take a little longer than the first one they had at first base with Tyler Naquin.
This is one where Mike Barnett, who made the call, might be able to see simultaneous views at once, and the call's going to stand. So the inning is over. The Indians get on the board. They do get 3 hits in the frame, and 2 hits. cut it to a run. But a terrific throw by Jason Hayward in right field just barely nabbed Rajay Davis before he touched home plate. Kyle Schwarber started the scoring in the second inning with a solo home run, leads off here in the fourth. And it's ball one. It's been raining or sprinkling, drizzling, whatever you want to call it, since we started.
And they certainly expected that tonight.
But the forecast they had said it's probably not the kind of rain that's going to be. Oh my, that is crushed deep into right field and way out of here for Kyle Schwarber. His second home run of the game, and it's 4-1 Chicago.
Well, he got him with a cutter on the inside part of the plate the first time, and this looked like it was the curveball. And he slowed it down, and he stayed back, and I mean, he hit it high and deep. So all of a sudden, they take that one swing, and they've scored 3 straight now. And the third home run for the Cubs, second for Schwarber, so he has 6.
And Addison Russell, he drilled a double that way his last time up. This time Tyler Naquin runs it down on the gap for out number 1.
Well, that's the key. If Josh falls behind 1-0, Cubs are now 4 for 6 and 3 home runs when he falls behind the count 1-0.
Jason Hayward flied to center. His only time up in the second inning. Gave you the numbers before. Hayward has hit 1 out of every 2 baseballs with great exit velocity. He's hit the ball hard. He has stung it, but he doesn't want to hear about that because he wants to see results that count in the box score.
See,
there's
like
another one
right there. Okay, you hit it hard, but you're right. They want it. Hitters want to see results.
He's got 2
Whether
home
it's
runs.
Hard, it doesn't matter how hard you hit.
A double and a triple. He wants to be rewarded.
You know, here's a good case in point. Okay, I've been hitting it hard. Well, guess what? It's right at him. Hang with him. It's an offer. So, you know, I mean, sure, you want to take it back, but you do want to see results, and you want to get hits.
Ian Happ checks, it's a strike.
Arch, I love hearing you say that, but in this day and age with all these numbers out there, I don't think every fan understands what you're trying to say. It's nice to hit the ball hard, but guys get motivated by getting hits, right?
Sure. Well, let me ask you a question. Would you rather hit a ball just like he hit there, or would you rather flare one in over the shortstop's head?
It feels better to be standing on first base and the ball coming off the bat.
Absolutely. You want hits. It's tough. This game's tough enough. And then your teammates, hey, way to swing the bat, man. You hit it right on the nose. Who cares? As a hitter, you don't care.
Well, in talking to Mike Chernoff just a few days ago, he said that, you know, more players want to know all the information. He says, but sometimes you bog down players by telling them all the information that we have. He says it's a nice extra thing to have, but they don't give all this information to all the guys if they don't want it.
It's a good thing.
That is gone. Ian Happ stayed on it and just popped it down the left field line, and it carries out of here. And that is the 4th home run hit by Chicago already here tonight. All 4 have been solo shots, and their lead is now 5-1, and that is going to bring to an end the night for Josh Tomlin. Kyle Schwarber started the scoring in the second inning with a solo home run. Ian Happ had an RBI single with 2 outs. Wilson Contreras a solo homer in the 3rd. And now Schwarber and Happ with solo homers here in the 4th. And Tomlin goes 3 2/3 innings here tonight. The Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made for Dan Otero, and we'll be right back. Throughout the early part of the season, Kyle Schwarber has hit a pair, a line drive solo smash in the second, and in the fourth, one of the more majestic long home runs. Dan Otero coming on the pitch now for the Indians. And Otero making his 6th appearance of the year. No wins, a loss, in the area of .491. And he's trying to suck up a few innings here, keep the Indians in this one. Pitch is outside, ball 1 to Albert Almora Jr., who is 0 for 2, struck out in the first, popped up in the second.
Out of the 7 hits the Cubs have today, 6 of them extra base hits, the 4 home runs and 2 doubles to go along with the single. So they have brought in their power bats today.
Otero fires it in for a strike. 1-2.
It's been a while since Otero pitched, the 18th ball game in Puerto Rico.
Taps it foul. Strike 3 called. Inning over. Chicago 5, Cleveland 1. in the 4th inning. And now he'll hope the offense can come back and pick him up. Time now to take a look at our T-Mobile Built for Baseball. Best network for streaming live baseball, because your stadium should be where you make it. And in the Bronx, Michael Andujar has an extra base hit in 7 consecutive games, joining Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio as the only other Yankees to do that.
That's pretty impressive. A guy you've never heard of, and all of a sudden he comes up and does that. Incredible.
For the Indians here in the bottom of the 4th, Yonder Alonso, Edwin Encarnacion, Tyler Naquin do up. And we'll see if the Tribe's offense can mount a comeback. Chatwood has given them opportunities. He's walked a couple. He's walked 3. And he's given up 3 hits. But so far, just the 1 run on the board. Alonso had an opportunity in the 1st inning. There were 2 on with 1 out, but he grounded into an inning-ending double play. Takes down low, ball 1. That'll leave it the count. Yonder's been in a pretty good place offensively here of late. Last 3 games, 5 hits and 11 at bats, and among those 5 hits, 2 homers.
Yeah, actually, he's been very consistent. He's gone up and he's hit the ball hard all year long.
Grounds out here, 1 away.
Well, you can still get a prorated Tribe season ticket package for the best seats at the best prices. You'll save big over single game prices and get exclusive perks. See Indians.com for more details. That guy looks like an umpire.
What league? The California Penal? Edwin Encarnacion struck out his only time up in the 2nd inning, and he takes a called strike. And it's just foul. It was hugging the chalk, but right in front of the bag. Took a left turn. Slow hook. He's out looking.
He's breaking out the curveball now in this inning. Earlier it was the slider. This one he slows it down and he gets the strikeout this time. So Encarnacion's gone down twice. It's the curveball. That's 3 strikeouts now for Chatwood.
Tyler Naquin walked in the 2nd inning. Looks at a ball outside. Well, the Indians and Cubs able to play through the raindrops. Where we just left in Baltimore, they're already rained out tonight against Tampa Bay.
Well, our timing was pretty good then, wasn't it?
We got through 4 games
there
without a drop of rain.
Without a drop of rain and without a 3-hour ball game in all 4 games there.
Naquin, a smash to short, backhanded by Russell. And the Indians go 1-2-3 for the first time tonight. Kia Sorrento, the perfect getaway vehicle. Visit KiaDealers.com to learn more. And by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. It is 5-1 Chicago here in the 5th inning. Javier Baez, Anthony Rizzo, and Wilson Contreras will bat for the Cubs. And the bat goes flying.
Wow, that's a pretty good toss right there, over 90 feet.
And that is something that you're bound to see when you've got rainy weather like this.
Yeah, Brian Butterfield's got to get out of the way. That just went over his head. He had it tracked all along.
First time we've seen that, though, really, where the weather has perhaps played a factor. The throws have all, for the most part, been on target. I mean, Jason Hayward made an unbelievable throw from right field to home plate to nail Rajay. Oh, shatters the bat. Now Kipnis has to hurry. Great bare hand grab and throw to get him for out number 1.
Hitting now for the Cubs, number 44.
Well, this ball, once it gets past Danny O, Kip comes in. He did, you know what I like? He didn't rush. You know, he took his time, made sure he had it, and he threw it accurately. But they're going to go score at 1-4-3, so I guess Danny did get a piece of it. See if the Kegler's bowling, or he was right.
Anthony Rizzo takes a strike. Rizzo flied to left, just popped it up his first time up, and grounded to second base in the 3rd. Tyler Olson getting loose.
Well, this will be a day where they can get that bullpen some work finally. Those starters have had pitched, what, 7 innings in 5 straight games coming into this one. So that bullpen has not been getting its work.
And that foul back. Got him looking. Otero pounds the inside corner. Second strikeout for Otero. 2 down here in the 5th. Stat of the game brought to you by Buick. No previous months with more strikeouts than hits in Major League Baseball history.
And that's not even close, man. Look at it. It's 400. 400 off, more strikeouts than hits. That's incredible.
Well, you guys know who ranks #1 in Major League Baseball in contact? Michael Brantley at 97.3 contact percentage.
Well, yeah, he just went, what was it, 40-some games without striking out and up until Baltimore.
Jose Ramirez is 6th. And talking to Terry Francona about this, I brought this up to him earlier today, and I'll wait till after this pitch from Dan Otero. And I think you'll like this up there. But he says Brantley and Hosey kind of stick out. He goes, maybe it's because I'm older, but I like it. Just the idea of making adjustments with 2 strikes and taking what the other team gives you and hitting the ball the other way. I really do like that. And he hopes that comes back more into style at some point in time.
I do too. But you know what? Think about it. With those 2 guys, they don't do shifts with Brantley and Ramirez for the most part. But
so wouldn't that tell other guys?
Well, you
maybe
would think so, Andre. You would think so. I just don't know. I mean, I can understand where you're going to see a lot of times you'll see 3 infielders over on the right side for a left-hander because they pull it on the ground. But man, when you use the whole field, you're going to get more grass out there to try and find a base hit.
Well, we talk about the Indians pitchers all watching each other and learning from each other and taking little things from them.
Right.
You would think other guys would see the same thing with all these shifts and players in different positions. Why wouldn't you try to hit the other way and take what they give you?
Well, first and foremost, the hitter's got to want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got to say, hey, you know, what can I do to make myself better and do this? Not hit more home runs, maybe be a better contact hitter, say.
As you say this, I think of Jason Kipnis, who took a bunt the other day in Baltimore, and he said to me, I'm going to start taking more of what they give me at this point in time if they're going to move away from third base.
Well, it's incredible that they don't do it more often. I mean, Jason's played a long time. He knows better than that. I mean, this is a tough game.
3 years ago, we were saying the same thing about Kipnis. Guys weren't shifting on him very much because of how much he hit the ball
to left field. Right.
And then he had some power.
Tied him up, struck him out. Dan Otero has struck out 3 of the 4 he has faced, but it's still 5-1 Chicago.
For a 4-game series starting Thursday. Just go to Indians.com for the tickets. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, another 4-game series.
Right now we're going to the bottom of the 5th where the Indians down 4. Bottom third of the order due up. Tyler Chatwood has yielded just 1 run. Another fastball that just gets away from him. Two balls and a strike. Half of the outs recorded thus far by Tyler Chatwood have been on 3 pitches or less. So the Indians haven't been maybe as patient as they would have liked.
Well, he's walked 3, struck out 3, and there's walk number 4. So my thoughts, when you walk 7 in your last start, you got to make him get in the strike zone.
You would think so. Let's go to Al Pulaski for a game break.
All right, Matt, Rick, let's head to New York. Yankees playing the Minnesota Twins. Jose Barrios on the hill. He was up 1-0. Gary Sanchez changes that with his 4th homer of the year. First hit and only hit Barrios has given up tonight, and just his 2nd home run he's surrendered this year. Twins and Yankees tied at 1, bottom of the 3rd in the Big Apple, guys.
Is that one of those Yankee Stadium home runs?
I know.
I mean,
well, it's
opposite field.
It's been that way
forever. Really hit
forever.
that hard, but
it's been that way forever. And those guys, you know, as strong as some of those hitters are in that Yankees lineup, they don't have to hit it. They can miss it. Well, we'll be there at the end of this homestand, or next weekend, I should say.
1-on-1 the count for Bradley Zimmer. Zimmer laid down a bunt. Came around to score the Indians' only run on the third. La Stella in at third, even with the bag. Not really expecting a bunt, but he doesn't want to get caught napping, and that's out of play.
Well, yeah, you burn a guy once at third base. He was leading off that inning, and it was a really nice bunt, and it was the right time. He ended up coming around to score in that inning. Something that I think he's going to add to his game, which would certainly help.
Zimmer down swinging. 4th strikeout for Chatwood.
Let's take a look. It almost looked like it might be either a split or a changeup going down and away there. There you'll see the movement going away. Had to be a changeup, I would guess.
Rajai Davis walked in the third. And then cut down at home, trying to score from second on a base hit to right field by Jose Ramirez to end the third inning. Just missed outside. Out of play. Rajai Davis down on strikes. That's 5 Ks for Chatwood. And back in the third inning, big momentum changer right here.
Well, he gets to the ball, and he almost lost that ball in his glove, but man, Recoup made a beautiful one-hop throw to Contreras. Look at now. I don't know what Raj is looking back for, because that's where he's got to get after it and get on it, baby. You got to score. That's 2 outs. You're going no matter what. So, and that was awfully close to begin with. They challenged it, and the call stood there. But you know, half a step with the way he can run can make a big difference. Instead of looking back, you got to get after it and go.
Lindor takes 2-0.
Now, the first time through the lineup for Chatwood, he threw 41 pitches. They had 2 hits, and they had 3 walks. Second time through, just 29 pitches. So there's a big difference right there.
Oh my goodness! Right back at him and right into his glove to end the inning. Home run derby for Chicago tonight. Kyle Schwarber in the second with a solo smash. Wilson Contreras in the third, a solo shot. Kyle Schwarber again in the fourth. 3 batters later, Ian Happ. Watch this one. Sounded like it cracked his bat, and it still went out the other way. But that spelled an early exit for Josh Tomlin. Dan Otero came on and was perfect through an inning in the third. He'll give way now to Tyler Olson.
Olson appearing for the 9th time this year. 6 innings of work, 11 strikeouts. Has not walked anybody. You can see the opposition hitting just 143 and giving different arm angles, so he'll get a chance at some left-handers in this lineup.
Tommy La Stella is 0 for 2. Foul out of play. You know, as rough as the weather has been here in the early part of the season, you and I were talking about this the other night. Seems like sometimes we have short-term memory. Like we don't remember that it's usually bad in April anyway.
Right.
Maybe not to the extremes from one year to the next, but is this the kind of night when Lenny Barker threw the perfect game? And we're talking
Very
middle of May.
No, okay, yeah, May 15th to be exact. Except it was colder.
It was colder than this.
It was colder. You were on the lakefront, and yes, it was very similar. You know, with the overcast skies, absolutely.
Little drizzle, off and on.
Well, yeah, but it happens every year. You know, I look at it this way. Here's my take on it. It doesn't get beautiful until Memorial Day, and then if it does, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing, yeah.
I mean, last year was fine. I mean, I thought there was, you know, the blooms on the trees were coming out a lot earlier than normal, and I thought it was a nice spring last year. It's just that, yeah, we have short-term memories. We just don't remember. It's always bitter in April.
And I would say that this April definitely qualifies as one that's been, you know, more harsh than others, but not to the point where, I mean, I've heard people already jumping out there saying, hey, we need to do this with the schedule. We need to do that with the schedule. I mean, come on.
They say it every year. Let's start the season later. How many times do you hear it? Oh, how many times? Everybody should open on the West Coast or the domes. Well, yeah, they want all their home games in April, too.
Yeah, right.
You know, the unfortunate thing this year that I don't think has happened before is that the Indians have 17 home games in the month of April. Now, that's a rarity. And for the first 2 homestands, no off days, you know, with those homestands.
Nice play by Jason Kipnis. He got off a good throw right on target to nip La Stella for out number 1. Our Kia drive to success, Kyle Schwarber, in his career here at Progressive Field. This is only in the regular season, mind you.
8 of 11. You think he likes it here? 3 dingers, 6 ribbies, 7 runs. It's a much different looking Kyle Schwarber this year.
He's lost some weight.
He lost a boatload of weight. I don't know how much, but he looks great. In the first 2 swings we've seen him take, he's swinging great too.
Yeah, it hasn't affected him. Sometimes, you know, guys drop a bunch of weight, and then not only do they not look like the same player, but they don't play like the same player. Slow chopper. It's going to stay fair. Oh, and Olson did a heck of a job And everybody appears to be okay, but that was nearly an ugly collision.
Did he tag him? It looked like I couldn't see if he tagged him, but obviously he did. Olsen was not. He felt that he had to get to that ball to tag him out. He wasn't looking for Alonso. He wants to make the play. I guess he got the jersey. Good play, good hustle. And that's wanting it right there. And that he was not going to let him reach base. That's outstanding effort. Got to rearrange everything now. Got a little out of whack.
Let's go down to Andre.
You know, we've had a lot of conversations about replacing Brian Shaw in the bullpen. Well, I can tell you one thing that has happened with Tyler Olsen. He's taken over. He's become the reliever no one wants to play catch with. Why? His ball moves more than anyone else.
Oh, yeah.
And they said his two-seamer, when he starts throwing it from the side, Nick Goody told me the other day it's impossible to catch. No one wants to play catch with him before games because he's taking that rollover from Brian Shaw with too much movement during warm-ups.
Yeah, it figures it's a left-hander.
Well, it reminds me of Rafael Perez. Back in 2007, he was one of those guys who could not throw the ball straight.
Well, Tyler has the same thing, and when he was a starter, he said it always gave him issues, and he couldn't find his arm slot. And he said Mickey Callaway finally told him, "Hey, man, take that as an advantage. Use it. Go out there and do it from all the angles."
By the way, Tom Boshenik checking in from the back row here in our booth. Says 49 degrees was the game time temperature on May 15th, 1981.
49? What's it here today?
We had 56 here today. So
I'm not looking at our scoreboard. That's
cold.
not right. let's go to the weather center.
You're right, a little colder.
You know,
and it probably felt 10 degrees colder than that because you were right on the water.
Exactly.
Quite a few folks, though, trying to stick it out despite the constant sprinkles. Ground ball to third, and Ramirez stays right with it. Perfect throw. And the Cubs go 1-2-3. The Indians bullpen has combined to set down 7 straight. Bottom of the 6th.
Well, so far the Indians bullpen have done their job, put a couple of zeros on the board. Now it's up to the offense to try and cut into that 5-1 lead. Still time to go, plenty of time to go. Bottom half of the 6th.
Kipnis walked in the first, drove in the Indians' only run with a ground out in the 3rd, and takes a strike here. Curveball hit to right field. And Hayward with a terrific play came sliding in and stole a hit away from Kipnis.
I'll tell you what made that play is that Hayward had a tremendous jump in this weather, and he got started, and he just didn't hesitate to come up and pick that ball up off the ground. And that's a big play, man. When you have that leadoff man aboard, you know, it makes so much difference. But Kipnis turned on that ball, hit it well, and the defense rises to the occasion there for the first out. That's frustrating. That's demoralizing.
Jose Ramirez has 2 singles in the ballgame. 2 for 2.
Second good play by Hayward. The other one was on Ramirez's hit where he threw out Davis at home plate.
Jose has 8 hits in his last 14 at bats. He has 18 hits in his last 45 at bats. So however you want to cut it up, he's getting locked in at the plate.
Yes, he is.
Zach McAllister now getting loose in the Tribe's bullpen. All quiet in the Chicago pen. Chadwood has not a lot of hits since the Ramirez 2-out single in the 3rd. It's April in the OHIO as this short series concludes tomorrow night. Trevor Bauer, John Lester match it up. Don't forget, Indians Live tomorrow is at 6:30. First pitch at 7 right here on your home of the Indians, Sports Time Ohio. Streaming live on Fox Sports Go. April in the OHIO presented by Menards. And Yonder Alonso takes low and outside ball 1. Call strike.
Yeah, he's saying that ball is down. Yes, it is. And I mean, it's frustrating too when you're trying to work that count. It's now sitting 1-1 when he feels it should be 2-0, and he's in a good hitter's count.
Well, Ted Barrett has a history of being one of the good guys that I think players respect. They enjoy talking to him. But balls and strikes wise, we've seen him a couple of times this year, and there's definitely a lot of inconsistency. And that's not a slam on him. Oh, went too far, says third base on Tom Woodring.
Well, let's look at it from the side. I'm not going to say anything until I see it from the side where you get a pretty good idea here. And what do you say? Borderline. Well, he's going to get 1 strike in this at bat. Let's put it that way.
Down in the dirt, full count.
But I will say this: if you're a hitter, it only takes 1 strike sometimes to get a base hit. That's all you need. Sometimes it's difficult when you feel you lost a couple in an at bat, to maintain that composure, to get back in there and stay positive, to take that 1 good cut.
Breaking ball, and he popped him up. Both calling for it, and it's Baez, the second baseman, who grabs it. 2 down. Tyler Chadwood has thrown 85 pitches tonight, and let's see. There for a while, there were more balls than strikes.
Yeah, there were, but now just, the split is 40 balls, 45 strikes. Use a quick jolt.
A flare to right will end the inning. 6 in the books. 5-1 Chicago. local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by the injury lawyers at Elk & Elk. Proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Oh, that look on his face kind of sums it up for Indians fans tonight. All Cubs. And all of it early. They scored 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 2 more in the fourth. That's been it. Indians bullpen has done a splendid job, retiring 7 in a row, and now Zach McAllister is the third reliever to work. Dan Otero an inning and a third scoreless. Olson a perfect inning. And now McAllister for the 9th time this year has Jason Hayward, Ian Happ, and Albert Almora Jr. Jason Hayward's a lot like Bradley Zimmer in that in a baseball team setting, when he walks in the room, he gets your attention. It's 6'5", 240 pounds. And when he broke on into the big leagues with Atlanta, you thought, man, this guy could be the next big superstar in the game because of his ability to hit for power and really hit for pretty decent average. Up the middle, and that's through, and he's got his first hit of the night.
Well, this one's straight back up the middle. Remember his last at bat, he lined one up the middle, and McAllister was lucky to get out of the way of that one. That one was off the bat. That had to be 100 miles an hour. And he was lucky to get out of the way. That's the 8th hit. That ball left the bat at 110 miles per hour.
That's scorched. Ian Happ is 2 for 2. RBI single in the second, solo home run in the fourth. But you know, Hayward, he was third year in the big leagues with Atlanta. He had 27 homers, 82 runs batted in, both career highs. He hasn't come close to matching either one of those totals since, and that's kind of a mystery because he's, well, for the most part, he plays. You know, he's had 1 year where he dealt with some injuries, but other than that, he's out there.
Well, we say the league makes adjustments to you, and you have to make the adjustments back. And he's been trying to do that the last couple of years in the off season. You know, he's one of those taller guys that extends the arm, and you know they can get inside on him. He's an excellent defender, good arm, as he showed that tonight.
Runner goes, and he had a big jump too. Happ fouling it back.
Yeah, tough track to run on today, but when you have a lead, they start the runner, and he fouled it off. I think the thing with Hayward, though, is that, you know, the big contract that he signed, people expect everything and expect more. So that weighs a lot on it. You know what I mean?
Like I said, he comes along and you think this guy is going to be, all the expectations are there regardless of whether or not he can live up to them.
Right.
There he goes again. And that ball's hammered into right field. And Hayward can glide on to third. So Cubs at the corners, nobody out.
Yeah, rarely do you see him run 2 straight times, especially when he was down the count 0-2, and Happ able to pull this ball. You see, there's the jump. Now watch, that ball goes right into the hole right behind him, and he's easily going to third base. So back-to-back times he takes off. He fouled off the first one, but he didn't that way. So Cubs in business, first and third, nobody out here in the 7th.
Well, Happ's another one of those guys they're excited about. Young guy. He'll turn 24 before the season's over, but he was the 9th overall pick in the 2015 draft. Made his debut last year, played 115 games, hit 24 home runs.
you know, before the game, guys, Tito talked about how the Cubs have stayed as a good team, but using all that youth. And he talked about the guy that's at the plate right now, Baez, Contreras, and Happ. And he just thinks they've done a tremendous job of mixing in the youth, but staying a team that can win games. And he thinks that's just how you do it nowadays. No matter how much money you spend, he says you got to bring up your own guys and make them good ball players on this level.
Bunt, squeeze, here he comes home, and the flip goes to the backstop. So Hayward is safe, Happ to third, and Almora is just going to hold right there at first.
Well, a surprise, boy. You want to talk about getting an extra run on the board. Almora lays down the suicide squeeze. He was off and running. And then McAllister coming in. It's the suicide. He was looking, and the flip goes behind. That'll be a fielder's choice. RBI. Will that be a sacrifice? Because McAllister comes up. Give him a single, RBI, and it's an error on McAllister.
Okay. Javier Baez. Runner goes from first to second. Almora was on the move, fouled out of play.
Well, he's just starting his runners, and if the hitters like it, they're getting after it.
Almora draws a throw, and you know, Andre was alluding to it, the youth of the Cubs. Almora was a first-round pick, 6th overall taken in 2012, and Baez the year before was the 9th overall pick. And I just told you about Ian Happ, another first-round pick, so they have made the most of those first-round picks.
Yes, they have.
Andre, I'm curious from down at your level of perspective on the field. From up here, almost looks like a, I'm not going to say there's water pooling, but it looks like a little bit of a sheen on the,
yeah, there's a glare.
Where Lindor particularly is at shortstop.
Well, the area where you're talking about with Lindor is that one area they haven't been able to take out this extra stuff. The ground crew's done a great job.
Yeah.
I've been sitting with them, but that's the one area you're talking about behind second base where they haven't been able to get that extra.
Yeah, it's a little shiny.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, it's been coming down, guys. It has not slowed down.
Yeah.
And I know the grass for the outfielders, a couple guys have come in trying to dry off the shoes and the lower part of their legs.
You got to take that into consideration to make sure your feet are under you when you make a throw. 1-2 pitch. Popped foul. 6-1 Chicago. Weekly tap towards second base. Kipnis' only play is at first. That's the first out of the inning. Another run home for Chicago. And it's 7-1. Hey, tonight after the ball game, stay tuned for the Tribe Report presented by GMC. Francisco Lindor heading home to Puerto Rico. You won't want to miss that. A sit down with pitching coach Carl Willis. Plays of the week presented by GMC. It's all coming up after Indians Live. There's Anthony Rizzo, 0 for 3 on the night. Off the mask. Right back to the screen. But 0-2 the count. Not quite a true shift for Rizzo in that Lindor stays just to the left of second base. But you can see Kipnis pulled way around.
But he's swinging it well, which right now he's scuffling a little bit. I think you would see 3 guys over there because he stays on the baseball, and he's a tough out when he's hot. He'll choke up.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how that got by McAllister. It just like floated past him.
It was a marshmallow. It just floated. It was almost like
he jammed him so bad. Watch this again. This is incredible.
Yeah, he does. He gets inside so much. He was choked up. And look at that, went below the trademark. And it was hit so soft. I want to see what's the bat speed off of that.
Where's the StatCast now?
Yeah, I want to see that one.
And look how, as you talk about hitters smelling a hit, and he was 0 for 3. He was 35.5 miles an hour.
There you go. And guess what? That's
hit.
Better than the line drive Hayward hit to center field.
Remember what you asked earlier? There's your answer.
There you go, right there. You don't think he's happy now?
Thank you. I am happy because
not you, me.
Oh yeah, we're always happy because a guy gets hit. But that's the point. For everybody that talks about this stuff, it's great to talk about it. But he's happy down there, smiling.
He's embarrassed. They're going to abuse him for getting that ball off his thumbs. But I'll tell you what, he's going to say, yeah.
Oh, look at Almaro right now. He's sitting here cheering for him, laughing at him. They're laughing and they're cheering to each other because he got a hit for them.
I don't know what Kipnis is telling him right now, but he's probably telling him you shouldn't count that on your baseball card.
Oh, yeah. You take all of them. Yes,
what was the hit probability on that? I want that, Murph. So give it to me.
Here we go. We got StatCast coming, Andre. Take a peek on your monitor.
That was hit probability 8%.
Look at that, kids. 8%.
8%, and he got a hit. How about that? 35 miles an hour. Beautiful. You could drive down the normal street like that, hitting it that hard. 35.
I've seen Tommy Boe hit a few wedges at 35 miles an hour.
They'll get all over him. You know what? They'll get on him. A big man like you hitting the ball that hard.
Wow. I think Zach McAllister's still in shock because he's trying to figure out how that got by him. And Wilson Contreras pops one up.
That was like trying to catch a butterfly.
Almora tags at third. He's not coming home, though.
Not on that arm, he's not.
2 down. I don't know if you noticed that, Arch, but Brian Butterfield, the third base coach, you know they're supposed to be in the boxes. He was right down the line. He was almost on the dirt, making sure that when the runner Almora tagged, he could see him saying, no, stop.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get a good look at it. He's a good third base coach, infield instructor, good baseball man.
Well, Stella tied up for strike one.
He was in Boston, Toronto.
And he comes right back in there with a fastball. It's 0-2. Just in off the plate. It's just foul at that first baseline. All right, just take a look at his Arch. Watch Brian Butterfield, longtime Major League base coach. Watch where he ends up. Comes out of the coaching box.
Well, that gives him. He sees he's going to make sure, no ifs, ands, or buts, that player is going to see him. He knows the strength of Zimmer's arm. He knows what's going to happen. They have a 6-run lead. No, you're not going.
And a base hit up the middle with the runner Rizzo going on the pitch. Scoring on the play is Almora. Rizzo goes all the way to third, and the Cubs have scored 3 times here in the 7th inning off McAllister.
And I'll tell you what, how many times have they started their runner? 1, 2. They ran probably 3 or 4 different times in this inning, just starting the runner with 2 strikes. Next thing you know, you get a base hit up the middle. So it's been a big inning, a 3-run inning right now, and 5 hits so far for the Cubs off Zach McAllister.
And Schwarber, who has homered twice already, swings and misses. By the way, we were talking before about his weight loss. I read it was around 30 pounds or so.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll tell you one thing.
He was an all-Ohio linebacker at Middletown High School, in addition to how great a baseball player he was.
Be a safety now. Well, one of the reasons he lost the weight, Matt, I was going to tell you, remember that brace he had on during the World Series a couple of years ago after the ACL injury?
Yeah.
It was just preferred to him, told him he might want to take some weight off, take some of the torque off of that knee that he turned on. So the brace is gone and the 30 pounds is gone for Kyle Schwarber.
Well, there you go. Hard work. Yeah, he really scuffled last year throughout the course of the year. And, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, he's strictly a DH. He's DHing tonight, but in that National League, he's got to play the outfield when he plays.
Two balls, 2 strikes. It has been a 5-hit inning for Chicago. And 2 of those hits never left the grass portion of the infield. Popped to left. Rajay makes the catch. Stretch time in Cleveland. It's now 8-1 Cubs. The Indians with the long ball early here this evening. Kyle Schwarber with a laser shot.
3.5 seconds to get out of that ballpark there, so that one was really hammered. Contreras the same way down the left field line. Going off the bat at 105, a distance of 400 feet. And then this is the second one for Schwarber. The breaking ball. That was twice as long, 6 seconds, 6.1. He got under that and stayed back. And then Happ going the other way up onto the home run porch. The other way, and then this is the capper of the night. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And there it is right there. 35.5 miles per hour, 8% hit probability, but it goes as a single.
About 88 feet in length. Tyler Chatwood facing Tyler Naquin. Up and away. Two 1 pitch, and there's a fly ball to left down the line, slicing out of play. All in all, a pretty dreary night here in downtown Cleveland. They tell us it was gorgeous yesterday.
Well, that's good. Does a lot of good today.
The 2-2. Just a bit outside. Full count. And my reply to that was, well, it was nice in Baltimore yesterday, too. The 3-2 offering and a ground ball towards second base. Backhanded by Baez, but he couldn't really come up with it cleanly. And so Tyler Naquin is aboard to start the home half of the 7th inning.
Well, he was trying to pick it cleanly, and he was going to try and do the pop-up slide, but he didn't catch it. And once he did that, he was going to throw it anyway, but it's a heads-up backup by Contreras, who was running down there. It looks like Madden's going to make the call to the bullpen, saying, okay, that is enough. 92 pitches.
Well, we've got a timeout here in Cleveland with the Indians down 7 in the 7th. Sure, Steve Cishek taking over for Tyler Chatwood. Cishek making his 11th appearance on the year. And, you know, Tyler Chatwood, again, it's just kind of a weird line. He walked 5, only gave up 4 hits. And the infield hit here by Naquin, the first hit for the Indians since the 2-out line drive single to right field by Jose Ramirez in the 3rd inning. And Cishek,
he's
a little twirl on the mound after he delivered.
He goes back and cleans the spikes off. Sure will. You can see it's still a little muddy out there. 4 of Steve Cishek's 10 outings have been for more than 1 inning for Joe Madden.
Swung on and missed. And Perez down on strikes, 1 down.
Well, his ball is moving all over the place. He had the slider, the curveball. That's what he incorporated into his 2nd round through there. And he also that nice little change up there to Zimmer. He has good stuff. He keeps the ball on the ground. He'd only given up 1 home run on the year, so he's in line to get his first win.
Zimmer pops one to left field. Happ back, looking up. It's off the wall. And racing to 3rd is Tyler Naquin. And it's a double for Bradley Zimmer. Well, Zimmer waited back nicely on this pitch. Got the barrel to it. And when Happ went back on it, at first, I think he was thinking, I'm just going to play it off the wall. And then for a moment, he thought, well, maybe I can catch it. And then he got kind of caught in between.
Well, Happ is normally an infielder, but he's played the outfield. That's just a tough play. That's going to be high off the wall. Maybe he was trying to decoy, not sure. But that ball was hit a long way. That shows you the power of Zimmer going the other way. So a double, 2 hits in the inning, and now they have a chance to cut into that 8-1 lead.
Rajay Davis, the batter. He walked in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th. The Yankees lead the Twins 5-1 in the 5th in New York.
It's going to be coming right at you. That's a little tardy as well.
Raj holds up. It's outside 2-2. I can see where, you know, for a right-handed hitter, if you haven't seen him very often,
tough.
Those first couple of pitches, you might be a little tardy just because you can't pick up the ball.
Absolutely. You got to find that zone where he's coming from, and he's throwing it from down under. Yeah,
that time he went 2 down.
See it. Yeah, it's just that awkward angle. You see that ball going, you want to go out and get it, and the next thing you know, it disappears and you can't stop yourself.
Down and in, he missed. Ball one. Down and in, he didn't go. And it's 3-0. Jason Kipnis waiting on deck. And there's ball four, so the bases are loaded for Jason Kipnis. Far-fetched as it sounds, you get one swing of the bat now, and all of a sudden it's a 3-run game, and you'd send the Cubs bullpen into scramble mode.
Looks like he wants, to get a little drying agent out on that mound. He seems like he said he's slipping. So they're going to call out the ground crew to get a little of that diamond dust on there. Andre, why don't you go help? He'll give you something to do. You watch his front foot. See if he slips. He slipped on the very first time he threw the pitch tonight. There was a little give. There it is. He goes down, so it's time. And with the way he strides. Very sloppy night at the ballpark. They're going to go out and clean up a little bit of that shortstop where you see the sheen too as well. Not only home plate, I mean the pitcher's mound.
Yeah, there's only so much they can do, you know, because as you pointed out, I mean, the rain, it's been falling all night long.
It sure has.
Not a lot, but enough that over time it accumulates. And
we say not a lot because we're covered.
I mean, it's not that you wouldn't call those puddles out there, obviously. If there were puddles, they wouldn't be playing.
Right.
But the ground looks like it gets to a point where it's pretty saturated. And you just wonder, from a footing standpoint, how slick it might be for the base runners and for the defenders on the dirt, as well as the pitcher. Jason Kipnis takes, and that's called a strike. And boy, oh boy, there have been a lot of hitters not in agreement with the home plate umpire tonight, on both sides.
Well, there's your what more can you say? You can see it at home. I don't have to say a word.
There are the Indians base runners. Hoping to see Kipnis pop one here and change the outlook of this game for the Indians. Up high, 2-2. Naquin at third, Zimmer at second, Lindor at first. Cubs have out hit the Indians 12-5. Kipnis sends one high in the air to center. Almora is there and makes the catch. The Indians leave them loaded. We'll go to the 8th, 8-1 Chicago.
Back to center field along with Jensen Lewis, Al Pulowski. Join us after the game for Indians Live. It's brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Well, Jensen, the Indians have pitched very well this year. Tonight, though, just wasn't a good pitcher's night for the Tribe.
Yeah, lack of execution from Josh Tomlin, and we'll hear more in the postgame show on Indians Live. But boy, we talked about how lethal this Cubs lineup can be. That's without Chris Bryant. You saw the power on display up and down the order.
All right, make sure you join us after the game. Indians Live from Conrad's. Plenty to discuss. There we are. We'll try to stay nice and dry. Matt and Rick, we hope you guys do the same. Let's send it back to you for the call.
Oh, we're plenty dry up here.
I figured.
I don't think Andre could say the same thing.
No, he looks a little damp.
Right now, Nick Goody coming on for the Indians here in the 8th inning. And he'll be facing the bottom third of the Chicago lineup. Eric Gonzalez taking over for Lindor at shortstop. Addison Russell 1 for 3, a double and a run scored. Right back.
That double that he hit back in the 2nd inning. It was Bradley Zimmer that made a diving attempt for it. He had a long way to go, and it went off the glove. Almost made a terrific play.
Nice off speed pitch. Gets him ahead in the count 1-2.
Yes, he did.
Back in your day, this game probably would have never been played because the fields didn't have the kind of drainage that they have nowadays. I mean,
they would have been played.
Matt, what would it have been like in center field? I mean, it had to be, you're talking standing water in some spots, right?
That's fine. They played they really did. There's plenty of puddles out there. And you're right. It's so much different now. These fields, the new ballparks with the drainage that they have can hold a lot of water, but they never worried about the outfielders at the old ballpark. As long as they had infield and that dirt was dry, and they made sure the pitchers mounted home plate, plenty of puddles.
Well, again,
so that's the amazing thing you don't see now on some of these fields, puddles on the outfield.
The only time we ever see them is if it's a heavy downpour. You'll see them on the warning track. Remember, sometimes in ballparks, you get a heavy rain and you'll see some puddling on the warning track, but never on the grass. The only time you ever see a puddle on the grass is when they dump the tarp, and it's gone in about 2 minutes.
And then they go and sweep it into a drain.
Yep. But again, hats off to the members of the grounds crew who've been logging those probably 100-pound bags of drying dust out in between every half inning.
They're very good at it. You know, this is one that they knew they were going to start. They knew they were going to have to play through it.
To left, Rajay has to hurry, and he can't get to it. It just died right inside the line, and Hayward into second base with a double. His second hit of the night.
A little redemption. Hits the line drive at Zimmer in his second at bat, and flares one down the left field line and gets a double. So there's the you're even tonight. That ball got in on him, but he fights it off, and you can see it's just going to be placed out there beautifully by the time Davis can get it. Hayward into second base with a double.
And it brings up Ian Happ, who's working on a perfect night. He's 3 for 3, 2 singles, a homer, 2 runs scored, 2 runs batted in. Happ hails from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He was a 9th round I'm sorry, the first-round pick, the 9th overall selection out of Mount Lebanon High School. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, I remember when he came up, Terry went on. He wanted to meet him because he was. Remember?
Yeah.
Terry Francona wanted to go over and meet him and introduce himself.
He did play collegiately at the University of Cincinnati. Also played in the Cape Cod League. Hap finally retired, and Nick Goody has a notch on his belt, 2 down.
Well, the MLB ballpark app is presented by KeyBank. And the app lets you conveniently purchase, access, and forward your Indians tickets directly to your mobile device and have it scanned for entrance to the ballpark. No need to print tickets. Well, check it out, the ballpark app.
Top of the order, Albert Almora. Seeing some of those Cubs fans who are here tonight watching the game reminded me of that video that we showed at the top of the telecast. We had a look back during Indians Live as well, Rajay's home run. I mean, the video that Fox captured during the World Series of the agony that those Cubs fans were going through when it looked like they had it in the bag, and after Rajay's home run, I mean, those shots, just the pure emotion that you saw from those fans is just priceless.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there's a shot of 2 guys. I don't know if they were out on the left field home run porch. That ball goes over the fence. Their heads dropped. I mean, it was like their life just came to an end.
Well, think of what they were thinking. Here we go again.
Yeah. No balls, 2 strikes with 2 down. Swung on and missed. Good inning for Nick Goody. Strikes out 3. Go to the last half of the 8th. Remember, I was talking about the video that Fox captured. Just take a look at this. And again, sometimes you see something different every time you watch this thing. But watch when the camera, this is the ball that hits the camera. Watch when it swings around. Watch the 2 Cubs fans that are just right there in the shot right there. Look at that. I mean, that is as raw and as real of emotion. Oh, man.
This whole place was rocking.
And that ball, when it hit that camera, it spun that camera around and knocked the poor guy running the camera down. He almost fell off the podium out there.
No kidding.
He had to reach up and grab the camera because that was just wild. Jose Ramirez leading off the home half of the 8th. He is 2 hits and he has reached on a walk. Left-hander Justin Wilson, the 3rd Cubs pitcher to work here tonight. And Ramirez smacks it to left. Happ back, it's over his head. And Jose digging for 2. Happ's throw is way offline. And Jose has his 2nd double of the year and another big night at the plate.
Yeah,
3
no
for
kidding.
3.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It doesn't matter. This guy's starting to warm up, man. Another multi-hit game, another 3-hit game. And he had his first double the other day in Baltimore. Well, guess what? They're going to start coming now. Double number 2, 3 for 3, and he's starting to get it rolling. He's going to need a little help, though.
Well, Yonder Alonso 0 for 3 tonight. And he flares one to shallow right, and look who gallops in to grab it, Hayward. 1 down. Let's go downstairs and check in with the damp but dapper Andre Knott.
I've actually stayed somewhat dry. I won't tell you why. I've been hanging out with the guys here in the grounds crew, helping get this stuff out there for everybody. But there's been some talk that the Indians have signed Melky Cabrera, who played last year for the Kansas City Royals, as well as the Chicago White Sox. And just when you look at what he's been able to do, he's going to go out to Goodyear. He has to pass the physical, do all that stuff, and they're going to get him out there and then try to get him ready to play. Where does he fit on this team, Arch, Matt, when you think about what he can do from both sides of the plate?
Oh, man, that almost nipped Encarnacion. Going to 3rd on the play is Ramirez. Well, I think that, look, you know, we always say, you got to give it time. You can't jump to too many early conclusions. Certainly the Indians' production from the outfield spots has not been maybe what they anticipated. Otherwise, why else would they have signed Melky Cabrera? Right. So you look, he's got to fit somewhere, probably in the right field mix, I would think, because Michael Brantley's going to be your everyday left fielder.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah, you look at the outfield, they have 3 home runs, so that's tied for 12th in the American League, 27th in all of baseball. They have 17 ribbies, which is 13th in the league. So they certainly need some help out there, and he can do it.
Slow chopper to 3rd. And Edwin Encarnacion has an infield RBI single as the Indians cut into the Cubs lead, make it 8-2.
I thought Edwin was going to do the Bo Jackson and just run right out of right field up to the 25 line. You know, the other thing that Tito has brought up throughout the year, and he doesn't want to complain about it loudly, is he misses having a switch hitter in the middle of the lineup to protect his guys in Carlos Santana. He feels like it's big having that extra or that 3rd guy that can hit from both sides of the plate and break up all the lefties that they have.
And he's a good switch hitter. His splits last year, I think it was 286 right-handed, 285 left-handed, or he was an even split guy, sort of like what Ramirez and Lindor are. He's played in this division.
Well, I guess we'll probably find out more once it's official, once we have the physical pass and they can make an announcement. But I'm just curious as to how many games you think it might take for him to be quote-unquote ready.
Well, I was going to ask Arch that.
Grounded to
All
3rd.
depends on what he was doing prior to it.
Well, you don't have to answer because it's a double play and the inning's over. How about that? Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians. (8-2) Chicago as we go to the ninth inning, and we'll take a look back at our storylines brought to you by your Ford dealers. You're hopefully looking forward to a battle between Lindor and Baez, but it's been a one-sided Cubs affair here tonight. Matt Belisle is the new Indians pitcher. Javier Baez to lead it off. Slow curveball hit to left field. Well, Baez leads off with a double. That's his second hit of the night. Kind of bookends his evening at the plate. Started with a double, finishes with a double. You know, it's interesting. I'm just thinking to myself, that was a first pitch curveball. And when the Indians were in Puerto Rico, it was a first pitch curveball that hung, and Miguel Sano hit it out to tie for the home run to tie that game in extra innings.
Well, sometimes, you know, they have a feeling that, you know, you're not going to challenge them with a fastball maybe sometimes. And, you know, knowing the pitchers, I don't know if they have a big track record. But if you there's nothing wrong with sitting on a curveball first pitch. I think a lot of hitters have a tough time doing that. Most of them would rather look on the fastball, and if you get it, and if you get that breaking ball, you'll take it. But, you know, you have a history. Who knows how many times they've faced each other before.
Jammed, but in the hole, perfectly placed. Around third, scoring is Baez. And it's 9-2 Chicago. Anthony Rizzo didn't get all of this one, just as he didn't get all the one before.
But you see now the shift where they're playing him over. There was three on that side. Remember you said before, because there was a man on second base where they didn't have the three over there. They did that time, and he goes the other way. 2 more hits. They have 15 hits on the evening.
They played long ball early. It's been action ball from the 7th inning on. Starting runners, creating holes, hitting holes with the, you know, maybe some not all that hard hit baseballs, but they find a hole, and next thing you know,
it's been one of those
going
days.
First to third.
Yeah, they've smoked it. They hit it hard, and they've hit it soft, and everything is, you know, they found some holes. One of those nights. They were sitting here yesterday with an off day here in the city of Cleveland. And those were the guys that told you it was a nice day here.
I was going to say, even they knew it was a nice day.
Think about it. That's who told you. That's when you told me. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Yeah, they've had some downright awful weather. In fact, I think the Cubs' home opener was snowed out. Literally,
they were snowed out, but over on the other side of town, the White Sox played because they spent about 3 or 4 hours to get all the snow off the field, and they played their ball game.
That's the South Side people, though.
Yeah, they're tough.
A little tough, yeah, a little tougher. Harder edge over there.
I remember what you're talking about. I see the pictures where the snow was there, and they showed with.
Yeah.
And that's a good ground crew on the south side of Chicago as well. They did that with us when we were there once.
Do you remember that a couple of years ago?
Sure
we
do.
got to the ballpark and there was snow on the field, and we're looking at each other.
Way.
We can't play like this.
They said, give us a few hours.
That's right.
Absolutely right. I remember that. Roger Bossert, man in charge of that ground crew.
Well, Belisle has phase 3. All 3 have reached.
That's straightaway shortstop. And we want you to look at the hit probability, 21%. But the 3 guys were over on the other side, the right side of the infield.
So his last 2 hits add up to 29% hit probability.
And he's 2 for 2.
And he's 2 for 2. Tommy La Stella, 1 for 4 on the night. And it gets away to the backstop. It goes. Both runners move up.
I don't know if he crossed him up there or what. Man on second base, and it was a breaking ball, and he bounced, and it was a wild pitch. But for Perez to go out there and talk to him. Let's see. Yeah, he got crossed up. He never turned his glove the other way. He was crossed up. They got to get the right signs going.
Good fastball in there for a strike. And the count 1-1. Mariners White Sox played a quick one tonight in Chicago. I guess maybe it was an afternoon game, but the Seattle shut out Chicago 1-0.
Chicago hit it all over the ballpark yesterday.
Held to just 5 hits tonight. Seattle only had 5 hits, but they had 1 hit that drove home a run, and that's all they needed. Chop towards second base. Kipnis waits back. Takes care of that. 1 down, another run home. And it's 10-2 Chicago. That'll bring up Kyle Schwarber. Indians Cubs tomorrow night right here at Progressive Field. But it's a 7 o'clock first pitch start, which means our coverage with Indians Live will begin at 6:30 tomorrow night. Trevor Bauer goes against John Lester in a good matchup. Bauer, an ERA of 2.67 so far this year, and Lester 3.10. There's Bauer, whose record is 1-2. Lester's already 2-0. Pop foul, that's out of play.
For the Hardy fans that stuck around for this one, there's still a few down there with their rain jackets on, staying covered. They might be stuck to the seats. I don't know if they can get up.
They're just waterlogged. Zimmer racing in, slides and makes the catch. And the runner at third holds, 2 down.
Well, a nice play from Bradley. He's playing a little bit shallower. Look at that, not too shabby with a big Schwarber hitting, and he gets a good jump on it in the wet terrain and the turf. I mean, when you were a kid, that's what you used to do, like to make catches and slide on the grass,
that's
right?
The best,
and that,
yeah.
I mean, still, that's fun to do. Go in, as long as you catch the ball, you get to slide. It's that slip and slide out on the grass. Act like you're 12 again.
You know, the funny thing is about what you remember as a kid, it looked, hear me now, it looked really fun on AstroTurf when you'd watch it.
Well, you kept going.
Because the guys looked like they slid so far. Until I tried it for the first time on AstroTurf.
How'd that go?
Not real good.
Well, yes, but it wasn't wet when you tried it, was it?
Yeah, it was wet. It was hard. 2 more for the Cubs, 10-2 Chicago. Back at our Pat O'Brien Chevrolet play of the game. This is a stop you dead in your tracks momentum changer.
Yes, it was. It was a big one at the time. The Indians had a chance to make that a 3-2 ball game. A perfect throw by Hayward. They challenged it, and nothing changed. He came in, and he was out at home plate, and that ended the inning. And then it was all Chicago from that point on.
Luke Farrell gets an opportunity to pitch here in the 9th inning, and obviously got to be a big thrill for him.
Oh, right at home, man. Where he grew up, sure.
His dad, John Farrell, of course, not only pitched with the Indians, but was a member of the front office here for a number of years, and then went on to manage. Well, at first he was a pitching coach for Terry Francona in Boston, then managed the Red Sox. Swing and a miss by Roberto Perez. Just a little bit outside. Swing and a miss. Luke's had opportunities with a couple of other organizations too. Pitched with Kansas City,
right,
Cincinnati, and his brothers Jeremy and Shane both work in baseball. In fact, they're both working in the Cubs organization. So it's truly a family affair. Roberto Perez on a check swing is a strikeout victim, 1 down. Fouled right back. Line drive, base hit in the left field for Bradley Zimmer. And the Indians have one on with one out here in the bottom of the ninth.
Now, would they throw that ball away and he went to second base? How was...
Watch this. Ian Happ.
He's had a tough time throwing. Now, it's wet out there, I understand, but this is just get it in. And so, but gets by Baez, that's got to be an error.
Nobody really made much of an effort to knock that down either, by the way.
Well, no.
Not a great throw, I agree, but it was kind of like late time out there also.
But yeah.
Rajay Davis 0 for 2 with a walk and a check swing. You know, Rick, Luke Farrell is probably bigger than his dad because he's 6'6", but
he's not bigger though.
He weighs 210. I think that was one of John's legs.
Exactly. Johnny had some. Yes, he did. He had some big old legs that he could push off the mound with. You're right.
I forget the years. Did you and John play together at all in Cleveland? Did you cross paths?
No. I came back. I was doing television when he was pitching here. But the first year he played was my last year in Milwaukee. He's the one that started against the Milwaukee Brewers and Teddy Higuera the day Molitor had his hitting streak. That was
the day you ended Paul Molitor's hitting streak.
Yes, but it wasn't John there. John pitched like 9 innings, was taken out of the game.
Yeah.
But that was John's first year.
Rajay pops one foul right side.
So no, we never played. That was 1987.
Okay.
And then he went on, and then when I came back and started doing television, John was here, you know, on the pitching staff, and that's when I got to know him. And he would have been a really good one. He had some injuries, though.
2-2.
Yes, he did. He got him.
John was one of the guys who told me, he said, there are only so many bullets, and when they're gone, you're done.
Yeah.
And you know, with regards to guys have surgeries, some guys come back, but sometimes you don't. And he said, you know, but you want to run out all the possibilities. You want to let it all go and leave it all out there. But when they're done, you're done. There's a base hit center field. Eric Gonzalez smacks it. And coming around the score is Bradley Zimmer. So Eric Gonzalez gets the Indians another run on the board here in the 9th inning. Jason Kipnis 0 for 3 on the night, but had an RBI back in the 3rd inning. Kipnis fouls it back out of play. Luke Farrell trying to finish this one off for Boston. The Indians with a run home. Kipnis down on strikes, ends the game. So Chicago comes in and roughs up the Tribe here in the series opener by a final score of 10-3. And really not a whole lot to add to this one. They as I said before, they beat him with the home run ball early, and they beat him with action ball later in the game, and never let the Indians back in. There was one small window of opportunity. We showed that to you, the play at the plate. Rajay was thrown out, but this is a pretty one-sided game here tonight. There haven't been many like this for the Indians because the pitching's been so good, but boy, Josh Tomlin again had another rough outing, and you just wonder, you know, what the future holds for Josh in terms of you know, in the rotation right now.
Well, that is true. We'll have to sit and wait, but the Cubs, they got after it early, and yeah, really, there's not much you could do. We showed you that turning point, I think, with Hayward threw that Rajai out at home plate, and you know, that stopped that inning. Could have made a 3-2 ball game. Inning still going, and maybe some momentum built from there, but that turned it, changed it. So this one's in the books and history, and they're going to have to come out and they're going to face John Lester tomorrow against Trevor Bauer.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up. Cubs go to 11-9 on the year. Indians are 12-9. Good news for the Tribe, though, is the rest of the division still scuffling along. Minnesota, at last check, losing to the Yankees. So for Rick Manning and Andre Knott, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow night. Right now, it's time for Alan Jensen and Indians Live. And boys, there's again, some nights are like this. There's not going to be a whole lot of fun and positive things to talk about, but I'm curious, both of your opinions. Where do the Indians go right now with regards to JT in the rotation?
It's going to be the question, I think, that has to be answered maybe sooner than later, Matty, with Ryan Merritt on the doorstep here and a rehab assignment starting to finish up. And then, you know, we'll see where Tito wants to go there. But outside of that, you know, the offense, again, it started to get going, and then you run into Tyler Chatwood. Effectively wild, I think, is what we would call him tonight.
Yeah, 5 walks tonight.
Yeah, 5 strikeouts. And he's a guy that 40% of the outs that he gets are via a walk or a strikeout. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. It was an awful night to play. The weather was bad for both sides, but, you know, as Matty said, the long ball, it got the Indians early. All right, stay tuned for Indians Live. That is next, and it's brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Indians and Cubs tonight. This one goes to Chicago. They now lead the all-time series 10 games to 9, but perhaps the Indians can even it up tomorrow night. Stay tuned. Indians Live next.